I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, basically, I wanted to go into this quick article that I came across. I was searching through, different articles on RT News, and this one in particular stood out to me um, due to the nature of the language that was used in here. Okay, so um, I'm just gonna go into it real quick and just highlight some key words and key points that were mentioned in this article. Okay, so as you can see, it says global economy in for violent shocks ahead, said by economists. Let me just go ahead and 1 second. All right. Economists, right? So it says here, the coming recession will lead to a profound structural shift. Mohammed El Arian says there's a tendency that this right there. Keep this in mind, right? Profound structural shift. It says there is a tendency to see economic challenges as temporary and quickly reversible. But this time, the world is headed for a profound economic and financial shift rather than just another recession. Mohammed El Arian has warned. So now we got to think about this for a second, right? A profound. Let's type that in here. Profound. What we got? So it says of a state, quality, or emotion very great or intense. All right. Cool. So now let's come here and let's use that. Sorry, back here, utilizing this definition. So we're dealing with a very great or intense economic and financial shift rather than just another recession. So this isn't going to be because here's the thing, right? You got people that comfort themselves and others by telling them, oh, well, yeah, we're going into a recession, but it's not like the country hasn't been in a recession before, or it's not like this is the first time a recession is happening, or yada, yada, yada. And that's because they're basing what they're expecting off of what has happened in the past, right? But even as it says in Jeremiah 30:7 and Daniel 12:1, that this is going to be a time like never before. So, yes, you may have certain uh, uh, terms like technical, like, just basic terms like a recession, right? That you may say, oh, well, we all know what a recession is. But the level on which it's going to affect the world is going to be unlike anything you've ever seen. So now what this individual, Mohammed El Arian, is saying is that this isn't just going to be a regular recession, just something that you're used to and you know how it goes and it does. This happens, then this happens. This is expected behavior. This is what we do, and this is how we get out of it. This isn't going to be like that. Okay? That means that this is going to be something that drags on, or at least, is so damaging enough that it's going to require, in order to come out of this, is going to require a different or a shift in the economic and financial system of the world. Because remember, the global economy is heading, all right, for this shift. So it's not going to be just something that happens in one country or another. Now, interestingly enough, as this economy is circling the drain, this global economy is heading more and more towards a recession. Countries are shifting more and more towards these CBDCs very quickly. A lot of them are engaging in this or initiating their CBDC pilot programs. All right. Now, recently, I believe that the New York Fed and some major banks were also doing a pilot program to test out a digital dollar. So they're all moving already to that digital world because here he said a shift, right? But a shift, where are you shifting from and where are you shifting to? Clearly, they're going from this old world, as they use the term so much a couple of years ago, the new normal. The new normal is going to equal a new economy or a new economic system and a new financial system. And from the likes of it, the perfect justification would be, well, this is the only way. The old economy or the old system has crashed. All right, it's not functioning anymore, and we cannot bring it back. So we need to shift away from this in order to, not only come out of this, but also to make sure we don't end up in this situation again. So it says, like, let's take for example, you have a balcony, right? You have a balcony, and an incident takes place where the the what's the word I'm looking for? The rail or fence, or the thing at the that barricades the side of the balcony that makes sure that you don't fall over, pretty much. That was too short. Then you have an incident where a toddler or some, finds their way through, or maybe the matter of fact, let me just do myself a favor. Let's see, the balcony. Let's see, let's get some images. All right, there you go. This ain't bad. Something like this. All right. So let's take something like this for example. Now let's say these bars, each bar in here wasn't wide and wasn't thin enough, right? They were super wide, and you had an incident where you had a toddler that was playing around and ended up falling out through there, and then we all know what happens after that, right? Now after something like that, anybody that basically, it would be a notice that when manufacturers are making these, or when they're designing these buildings, they got to make sure next time, raise this higher and make sure these bars are so thin that you can barely even get one hand in through, to prevent a situation like this from happening again, right? So the point of the example is, once this old system crashes or goes down, and the new one comes up, the new one is going to be, oh well, this is how we get out of this situation we're in, but also this is how we prevent something like this from ever happening again. And they can highlight many different reasons for why the world is heading in this global recession. But he's going to mention a few other things, right? So it says El-Erian is the chief economic advisor at Allianz and former CEO of the influential bond market player PIMCO. The Economist wrote in a commentary for Foreign Affairs, a magazine, that a combination of pressures on supply, central bank tightening, and market fragility were all likely to weigh on growth. Three new trends in particular hint at such a transformation, right? The changing of forms, and are likely to play an important role in shaping economic outcomes over the next few years. Do you see the words they're using here? Transformation, shaping. These are words that are used when you're modifying or recreating something. You're shaping it in a certain direction that you want it to be. Right? As it says in Revelation 13, let us make an image to the beast. Well, they're shaping the world, poeo. They're causing. Now it says here, the shift from insufficient demand to insufficient supply as a major multi-year drag on growth. The end of boundless liquidity from central banks, and the increasing fragility of financial markets, El-Erian wrote. These shifts help explain many of the unusual economic developments over the last few years, and they are likely to drive even more uncertainty in the future as shocks grow more frequent and more violent, he believes. And who do we have to thank for that? Well, we have those that are working behind the scenes. Man, they trust me. They know that with the level of studies and analysis that they do, they foresaw this. If they were actually interested in saving this economy, they would have definitely prevented this from happening. Okay, but this is all deliberate. It was done to deliberately cause a breakdown. However, on the outside, it was to look as though they're trying their best. Oh, we didn't see it coming. Okay. If even we saw it coming, all right, and we're warning, and no, we said inflation. No, they know there's gonna be no inflation. No such thing. No such thing. It says the changes will affect individuals. You hear this? So the changes, right? This transformation, this shift, this profound, right? This profound economic and financial shift will affect individuals, companies, and governments economically, socially, and politically, the economists warn. So whatever's coming, there's going to be a very big fall, and there's going to be um, a reconstruction. Okay, so just keep in mind that, I mean, according to this economist, this recession that's coming, in quotes, isn't going to be just your average regular case. This is going to be the game changer, the transformer, the catalyst that's used to justify all the new changes and transformations that they discussed that they're getting ready to implement. Because they're ready. They got the infrastructure. They have the technology. They just need to put it in place. All right, and like the saying goes, crisis comes through change. All right, that's exactly what they Salakia, change comes through crisis. So that's exactly what they're trying to do. Bring the crisis and implement the change. Um, L. Arian criticized the U.S. Federal Reserve in particular for being too slow to recognize inflation's destructive impact on the economy, and then for its steep rate hikes to make up for lost time. Yeah, but even this, you're giving them too much, because it's not that they were slow to recognize it. This isn't a deed of innocent ignorance. No, this is deliberate. They weren't slow to recognize it. They were deliberately denying it, and then waiting to the point where it would get to the point where they would say, "Oh, well, we have no other option but to do what we're doing here," because this was also an important factor to get the world in the condition that it is now. Okay. He also said that markets have been trained to expect easy money from central banks, and the perverse effect that of that has been for a signaling a significant chunk of global financial activity to flood into asset management, private equity, and hedge funds, among other less regulated entities. Okay, so I mean, at the end of the day, what you're seeing is what we've been telling you, which is exactly what's about to happen. And regardless of how, the attention switches, this happens, this happens, this happens, but it all, at the end of the day, this is still going on behind the scenes. Whether there's certain things that happen covertly, others happen overtly, the world is still moving towards a direction of chaos, of hard times, because like we read here, this is going to affect individuals, right? So what are individuals going to do during this shift? When you have reconstruction, when you're tearing down to rebuild, there's a process in the middle where you don't have anything, right? Because at one point you had something, but in order to get from what you had to what you want, you need to break down what you had and then build up what you want in its stead. So during that process of reconstructing, you're breaking down and you're rebuilding, then what? Okay, that's the part where people are going to be very, very uncomfortable. And through that uncomfortability, you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna be so eager for the reconstructed economy and financial system, because they've been going through hell while there was none in place. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 7, verse 14. It says, "Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood." And who's the number one heathen, all right, that's doing that right now? The number one nation is Esau, Edom. But to be more specific, this begins with the heads, okay, of the Edomite nation. We just refer to them collectively as the elites, all right, and we occasionally list some of the names that they go by in their terms of their family names, like Rothschilds and Rockefellers, and which really they're all the same anyway. But DuPonts and Gettys and some of these different names, but they're really the ones, all right, who are conceiving this mischief and bringing forth falsehood. The average The average Edomites that go about, they're also going to get caught up in this. Okay? It says he made a pit and digged it and is fallen into the ditch which he made. Yeah, because that's going to be the end of them. They're making the pit, they're digging it, but they don't realize that at the end, when all is said and done, they're pretty much digging their own grave. His mischief, because what happens when you push and push and push and you cause a chaos, you declare martial law, all these destructive things start happening. The MOTB comes out, World War III pops off. Where do you think that's going to lead you? Because these are all things that, especially the MOTB, is a main part of their agenda, but they don't realize that the second you do that, that is pretty much it. Okay, that is pretty much it. You just shortened the time of your kingdom by God knows how long, which in reality, I mean, the Lord has a set amount of time for them anyway. Is as his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own plate. So what does that tell us? That regardless of how they push this, Second Ezra 16, they send the troops and the madmen and all of that. Guess what? They're still gonna lose. Okay, it's all gonna come right back upon them. They're not gonna succeed at this. Verse 17, I will praise the Lord Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh, or name of Yahweh the Most High. Okay, and rightfully so. This is the book of Psalms 140. Now I'm just going to go to the point. All right, this is a good chapter to read also, but I really want to just get to the point. Let's see. All right, maybe I jump around a bit. This is Psalms 140 and 1. It says, deliver me, O Lord, or to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Deliver me, O Lord, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. Which, who's the violent man today? Esau, Edom. They got to be on the top of the list. Which imagine mischiefs in their heart, right, in their mind, when they get together and they share it and they come up with even more mischief. It says, continually are they gathered together for war. They have, and in Revelation, I think it's the 6th chapter or so, it talks about the red horse, or who was given basically a sword to take peace from the earth. Yeah, Revelation 6. Yep, Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red, which represents Esau, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And who gave him that? Yahushua, when he was Isaac. Okay, so ultimately that represents Esau, Edom, and that's his purpose. Okay, that's his purpose. So that's why he is a violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, continually are they gathered together for war. And then in this time, pursuant to Revelation 12 and 17, it says what? That the dragon was wroth and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Of whose seed? The nation of Israel. And who are the remnant? The elect. Okay? Let's see. Let's jump down here. Yep, verse 5. It says, the proud have hid a snare for me, and cords. They have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Selah. And gin is a trap. Okay? Let me confirm if it's a bird trap or if it's just a regular trap. I think, let's see. Okay, all right. Yeah, it says bait, lure, snare. Let's see what here it gives us. Gin. Trap. Yeah, it says a machine. Okay, nope. Clearly, this is not what I'm looking for. Yeah, here it is. Okay, let's go. All right, so it says a trap used especially for catching rabbits. Okay, not birds, but I mean, in essence, it's still a trap, and that's the point that King David is making here. All right, which is that they've laid. He's emphasizing it, right? Remember, it's a psalm, So it says here, the proud have hid a snare for me, and cords. They have spread a net by the wayside. This is different ways of saying the same thing. When you say somebody has laid a snare for you and cords, all right, which are used to bind you, they have spread a net by the wayside. That's another way of saying they've laid traps for you. All right, they have set gins for me, and he's emphasizing that. And then guess what? And that's what these devils are doing. They're not see the reason we're able to see directly through what they're setting up, but it's not necessarily that they're openly putting everything out there. Slowly but surely they are, but we can see through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai the traps that they've set. Okay, but for the most part, they're still doing it through traps. They're still doing it through mischief. That's why they'll come out and say one thing and they'll be doing another. They'll put something in the mainstream media to distract people while they're setting something up low key. Okay? Sometimes they'll go quiet on a certain subject for a long time because they don't want attention on it at that point in time. But really, that doesn't mean that it just stops. They've trained people to think that if something is not once something leaves the mainstream media, it ceases to exist. So at some point they were talking about blackouts. They were talking about food inflation and food shortages and a global food crisis. Then they switched the topics to talking about the Russia, Ukraine, and all of these other things. And then people just thought that, oh, well, that must mean that the food crisis just ceased to exist. No, it's not how it works. It just means that they have something else in the mainstream as a hot topic now, but it doesn't mean that everything else ceased to exist. See? But anyway, I'm gonna end it here. The point that I wanted to make was dealing with this article, all right, and the words that were used in here. So they're already letting you know that this destruction, this so-called recession, all right, this economic downturn is not just gonna be any old regular thing, but it's gonna lead to some major changes. And that's why now you got this guy, Klaus Schwab, all up in the forefront, making all these statements and these bold claims. Okay, because they're getting ready to implement their NWO. Anyway, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.